as well. It's definitely a brutal, strong time if you can reach it. We'll just have to see if that's going to be the goal for B. It's time to decide this. Who will continue their journey through into the winners' finals, and who will have to redeem themselves in the lowest? It's Game 5 between B and VortiX.
Can B do the reverse sweep? That is the question on everyone's mind right now.
It's quite the miraculous turnaround. I mean, I think B has looked better game after game. VortiX started off so strong, but you know that game 4 especially looked a bit shaky. Game 3 feels like, you know, there's a question: did he hang in there too long? Did he burn himself out on an already lost game? Can he shake that? You know, someone of VortiX's experience, a person who's been competing for so many years, should be capable of that mental reset. But sometimes a game can be so frustrating, so perplexing, that it's hard to let go.
B going to be moving out with 2 villagers here.
Wow.
Going for a dog, what seems to be right in the corner.
That means
And this is
you can just wall it off with like two slabs, right? So now there's no counterattack for VortiX. And the cool thing about this from B, okay, he has to do the north side as well, but the cool thing about this from B is now he doesn't even have to invest in the proxy racks.
VortiX going to be going for a stable here. This is perfect for B. I mean, you could not ask for a better spawn with that woodline.
Sometimes it do be that way. But it's that way on both sides. Like, VortiX could have done the same thing, minus the walling, because you're playing Mongols. But, like, he could have had this kind of shrouded TC. Tough part for Mongols is we know how the openings work, right? Like, they never prioritize a dock. They always prioritize an Uvu.
And B actually bringing out a 3rd villager there.
Wait,
It seems like he's going to be losing it. He's
VortiX,
going to be losing it to the wolf.
The wolf and Pumbaa were involved in the party. God bless you, Relic, for reverting the worst change we saw on the pot. Pumbaa is back, and he's an annoying piece of crap.
I'm not exactly sure what B's plans were there with that 3rd villager. He's already got 2 out there on that dock.
Like,
maybe it's a little bit of a bait.
all right, I know you went where I was going to go. Let's half the B copium and put him on a pedestal here. It was all on bait, so now VortiX thinks that B hasn't docked yet.
Yeah.
Let me just put my tinfoil hat on. You can keep your wizard hat on, but
I must have just been like a town center misclick, right?
like it's either that or it's like big brain bait. Like there's literally the only 2 possibilities here. I don't think you need randomly a 3rd villager out on the dock line. Unless he's done like some maths in his head of like, you know, build speeds, intercept time, and a 3rd arrow making the difference between stopping a dock going up.
It wouldn't surprise me, to be honest. I mean, B is always coming up with some wacky stuff like that, so...
We didn't talk about this starting spawn as well. Had B realized how loose VortiX is here, he might have tried some aggro of his own. But now that Horsemen are already in the field, he can't just punish this loose Uvu gold spawn. Because, like, let's be real, VortiX, like, if any pressure came his way, he could basically be stopped from going feudal. That gold vein is nowhere near his base.
Yeah, very exposed. Khan trying to pick up a villager here.
You know what B's doing there, by the way? Like, he's not just idling them. He's shooting and then fishing, and then shooting and then fishing. It's actually brilliant. Must be a confusing thing when you go to work like that. It's like, today we are fishing, but occasionally we are going to be in ranged warfare versus some horseback cavalry. Speaking of ranged warfare, this is kind of annoying when you get forced to do this. Horsemen, decent ranged armor, and just outside of TC range.
Yeah. VortiX is trying to buy time. Doesn't want to let B get up to the next stage.
It's actually a really cool element about water hybrid maps with the English, is that if you try to do this against English on land, they have like 10 villages near their TC, right? But when you play on water hybrid maps, they're all on wood instead. So you don't instantly lose horsemen for diving like that. You've served us well, puppy. Thank you for your assistance on the villager. Now die.
We can see already B's economy count already 4 above VortiX. And now going to be edging up with the council hall. I mean, it's already looking pretty rough for VortiX. Not being able to do any sort of damage to that dock with the horseman. Villager's actually able to pick off one of the horsemen right there.
It was a community effort. The villagers at home and the villagers on the colony. It's a little bit annoying for VortiX. I think, you know, he's invested into 3 horsemen, so 240 resources, 120 passive. It's not the worst for him, considering how late his dock is, that he can now just like pivot into military. But his timing wasn't optimal. I think maybe the better way to have done this would have been to have not gone fishing at all and just gone for navy aggression. Because now B's going to beat him on the tech up, and he'll have the ship out first. Nice chop of the tree, though.
That is going to be 2 dead villagers right there.
But not enough time to torch the dock, though. So that's going to still be an annoyance. He'll try, but Council Hall is about 10 seconds away from done.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll see a Hulk immediately in the queue for B. Or maybe we see a demo. Knowing B, it could always be a demo. Try and blow up the horseman.
You really, like, are you just on a campaign of hashtag make demos great again? Like, have I missed something here? You're just an explosives fetishist. I mean,
we've just been seeing B use so many demos throughout the last few games, but it is going to be a galley in this case, which makes sense up against, you know, the little clump of horsemen.
I'm kind of curious, like, I'm calling Age of Noob here because I know he does these type of things. I love you, you big nerd. At what point, like, distance-wise, deep water fish becomes less desirable than shoreline fish, considering shoreline got buffed and deep water got nerfed? Interesting thought, but you know what? You know what's even more effective than shoreline versus deep water? Just making them sink to the deep, which is what B's trying. But considering he's on the aggressive, you know, VortiX might even be able to just snipe out this galley outright.
Second, that's a Hulk now coming out for B. Oh,
what was that?
That Cali.
I'm sorry. Did some longbows defect to the Mongols there? What was that range? Good Lord.
I actually saw something really interesting yesterday to do with Springled ships, right? If they shoot at a ship and that ship dies before the arrow reaches, it carries on and doesn't stop until it falls off the map.
All right, well, he's going to not be fall off the map, but sink into the bottom of the sea. That's weird, because I recall, like, last weekend, we had the miraculous attack of the trees, where Springle ships were attacking trees for no reason. There's a lot of weird ones. Yeah, there's a lot of very interesting interactions with the Springle ships right now.
Yeah. But, yeah, the Springled keeps going across the map until it either completely falls off or it hits something. So technically, you could get a Springled ship in this pond, shoot something in B's base. It's pretty crazy.
Yo, honestly, okay, so I don't want Relic to fix that. I just want them to add in like a Sniper Elite replay effect. You know what I'm talking about, right? Where like it stops the game, then zooms in and follows the shot. But man, there's a lot of shots coming up from VortiX. Like B's just been annihilated on the waterfront here.
Yeah, not looking too good for him. We see both players now at an even economic count. He was looking in such a good position just a second ago.
Honestly, it's like it just feels a bit cursed. That demo ship timing from B, I think baited him into like an awkward timing where he felt he was strong, and VortiX manipulated that perfectly. You know, also keep in mind, like, VortiX, sure, you know, like, his tech up time was later. He had less fishing boats, but, like, he had less burden there, right, in that regard. He had less, like, invested to lose eco-wise. Whereas B just became this big Leviathan with not many defenses for it. Now B is in big trouble. He did go into some land aggression. It turns out he went for the Council Hall. I like his pivot onto land, but he needs to do some damage. Otherwise, VortiX will just now completely snowball.
VortiX, he was stacking up a little bit of resources just a second ago, but I don't think he's looking for that Castle Age timing quite yet.
Shout out to VortiX in the way he does like water. I think him and Lucifron are easily top 5 when it comes to naval micro. Like I noticed this at Rebel Wallol, and it continues to hold true. Like the way they just manipulate early fights. I think B definitely like over aggroed with his first ship, but like the demo ship hostage situation, as I call it, is something that VortiX has mastered. It's so infuriating to play against. And now B, he has to try to just win micro on land. The problem is when VortiX gets this much extra food, it might just become a dead brain horseman push, which B's going to struggle to answer.
Yeah, I mean, have a look at the score difference already. I mean, usually score doesn't mean a lot, but in this, I mean, just have a look at that. 500 points above B at the moment.
And also, where are the defenses for these Lombos? Ah, one
There's a spearman in there.
That guy must think he's like arrogant or something. Like, I don't know, man. You're not that tough. You're not Lubu over here. That's just going to cost you so much. Remember, these Lombos are premium compared to the archers you're trading out with as well.
Yeah, not looking too good for B here whatsoever. We see an 8 economic count advantage right now for VortiX. He's taking better fights right here.
He's really good at peeling. It's the best like way I can always describe it. Peeling being where you just like tear units to the side, right? He done it on the water with baiting the archer and springald attention. He's doing it again with these horsemen. It's another reason why I think horsemen truly are the S tier unit of feudal age.
He's been pushed off the deer, really being confined to his base right now. Doesn't have any food. Oh, another villager getting picked off there as well.
And that was him chopping, by the way. That was a freshly chopped tree. And VortiX is just switched on here. Oh, sorry. I promised some Gatling gun noises. That's the TC firing back. English TCs, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it wasn't that impressive.
Yeah, VortiX can afford to lose 1 or 2 horsemen to the Gatling fire if he can take out 1 villager, which he did indeed do. And I mean, just look at the difference at the top. The military count, the economic count, all in favor of VortiX right now.
Honestly, like B, it's match point, right? You can't leave, you can't retreat, you have to fight it out. But there is no easy way to fight this out. Like VortiX will be Castle Age, and B will know it. Like B can sense what's going to happen now. Like this army isn't getting much bigger, and now he's being forced to go mass men at arms. I honestly stick a fork in him. He's pretty done.
Yeah. Yeah, VortiX just seconds away from clicking up now. Well, Beast upgrading his men-at-arms.
Oh my god, he still hasn't walled it!
Oh no, and another villager.
Did he just chop another tree, or is it just that cursed?
It's going to be the step right out coming up for VortiX.
I don't know, man. I just think that's like the tree's revenge for taking its brothers and turning it into palisades, right? It's like nature's vengeance. The Ents can't be here right now, so this will have to do.
It's going to be the step right out for VortiX, despite the Kurultai having a couple changes.
But
not going to be the case.
In fairness, if you build a Kurultai, you have built a Kurultai.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like it's good if you have trade. Like I think step readout is like it's your big eco expansion. There are games where it makes sense, but VortiX's goal in this game isn't to do a slow creeping siege, because that plays into turtle gameplay, which is what the English want. He just wants to go mass raiders and just dive the base, right? So for that, step readout makes more sense.
I hope we see VortiX just for the memes go Imperial Age and get a Ohioi Pow Trebuchet.
Hui Pow.
Yeah, I've been trying to convince people all week to go play Mongols and just go Imperial Age, but no one will do it. I haven't seen a single game with that Trebuchet yet. I'm very disappointed.
So we got the ironic game yesterday where there was Mongol versus Chinese, and the Chinese like managed to GG out the moment they saw Elite Palace Guard chasing them in their base. Like that's my favorite part, is the irony, right? Is when a Mongol player pushes out your own unit against you, you're like, did I screw up and get wallowed? What happened here?
Yeah. But B looks to put the pressure on now with his men-at-arms.
I mean, he has to. Like, if he doesn't do any damage here, he's dead.
He's not going to find a lot of value for it, though. I mean, we've got Lancers out and Crossbowmen.
Oh god, getting cycle charged is the worst thing that can happen here as well. And remember, this is a Deerstone build. We never talked about that. You know, Yam has started to make his way back in. Just gives you that manipulation, gives that easy way of moving your villagers away from aggro as well. Makes it so much harder for B to do anything.
Yeah. He's looking very desperate now. Trying to make something work here. I think, is he trying to chop through that wood line? Try and maybe put an outpost down?
Honestly, at this stage, if I'm B, I'm just like opening the second monitor and like, how much do DDoSes cost? Like this, how much do I need to have someone go to VortiX's house and chop down a tree? And if he lives nowhere near trees, just drop a tree on his power line, like something, because nothing else is working right now.
Yeah, B losing out on even more villagers right there. Gonna be pushing in once again. Got some spearmen in there. I mean, what can you do up against the crossbowman?
Die.
Yeah, I guess that works.
Especially when there's an armor arrow that makes everything else undying. That is... I mean, what were we at? Like, almost 20 men at arms? 120 apiece? I honestly, he might just call it here. This is too much. He has no recovery point.
Yeah. That was a terrible fight right there for B. And there it is. GG's going to get called.
Rough one coming out for B there. Just brilliantly played by VortiX. Key moment in this game, definitely naval side. Those first two ships and the way VortiX manipulated the flow on water allowed him to manipulate the flow of the game. And it means that VortiX keeps the upper bracket run alive. B will have to redeem himself in the grudge matches down that lower bracket, where any loss means elimination.
Yeah. Well played by VortiX. He's been playing really, really well today. I mean, we saw him earlier on beat Beastie Cutie 2-1 and now beating B 3-2. Certainly been some close sets.
It has. I would expect that as well. Like, it's interesting coming to a new patch with these different rules. You know, you kind of expect this clash of ideologies, this clash of ideas, but also there's a kind of a similarity in the expectations, right? You can definitely feel that people are day on day reviewing each other's games and then taking very clear, quick inspiration from each other. It's why we already see Holy Island become the Rus Fiesta, right? It's why Delhi very quickly was becoming an S-tier choice in Canal. I think this is kind of to be expected. Maybe we see some really big surprises on the second weekend, but I would expect both of these semifinals to be quite close. And I believe we do have one more semi-final.